Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy. I'm Chris the Dom One, and I am back with another video. You know what you got to do: rate, comment, subscribe. Please hit that notification bell so it'll let you know when my next video or live stream goes down. Follow me on Twitter because that's where the real sparks begin. So go follow me there. I don't tweet a lot, but when I do tweet, something very informative. Okay, so I'm gonna try not make this a video. I'm not gonna make this video long, even though my average video is like 15 to 20 minutes. But this article is coming from TheRinger.com, and I guess they posed a question to their fan base, their follower base. Can the Oklahoma City Thunder make the playoffs this upcoming NBA season? The answer is no. Okay, well, goodbye. Thanks for coming, watching my live stream. 80% of you guys watch my live stream on the re-air. It's your boy. I'm Chris the Dom One, and I am out. No, I'm just I'm gonna put some more substance to it. The reason why the Oklahoma City Thunder is not going to make the playoffs this year is because the simple fact of, and they got a good solid squad, by the way. Okay, they finally got a traditional point guard. I like Chris Paul, even though I feel like Chris Paul is, and I told you guys on Twitter as well as here on YouTube that I do not see a scenario where Chris Paul is going to be traded before the start of the upcoming season. I gave it a date like after the NBA season, and I've been on my soapbox telling you guys this way before Woes, way before Stephen A. Smith, way before all the quote-unquote talking heads, the analysts on these other sports talk shows and the blogs and things of that nature. I told you even on Twitter, I do not see a scenario where Chris Paul is going to be traded by the upcoming season, but that's neither here nor there. They finally got a solid point guard, a traditional point guard, not throwing shade at Russell Westbrook, but he wasn't a traditional point guard. Okay, so having Chris Paul there mentoring the younger cast, they got Steven Adams. That's a solid. You know, Sam Presti has really drafted very well for this team. Okay, and they have a decent team. But at the end of the day, the West is the best, and it's a beast. Okay, and I can name 8 teams that I know for a fact that are going to be competing for an NBA championship. And hell, I can name 2 more teams that are closer to the playoffs. 2 more teams that are closer to the playoffs. That's 10 right there. So I just don't see a scenario where the Oklahoma City Thunder is going to make the playoff this year unless there's like a catastrophic injury in Lakerland where LeBron's going to be out for a season, Anthony Davis is going to be out for a season, Klay Thompson's not expected to come back. The San Antonio Spurs are digressing. I just don't. The Clippers, it just doesn't work out for the Clippers, and now they're worse with the talent that they done added with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. I do not see all of that happening and transpiring on a lot of teams in the West. Okay, so I do not see a scenario where the Thunder are going to make the playoffs. I will say they're going to have a decent record. They're going to be sort of in the middle of the pack, if they compete that way, they're not going to get enough ping pong balls to to increase their odds to get the number 1 pick. But remember, the Lakers had even though they had the same record like they had last year, they picked 4th or 3rd, one of them 2 picks. So anything's possible. And then they had a better record than the teams that were. They had a better record than New Orleans. They had a better record than the Knicks, but they picked like third or fourth, I believe. And you know that's a scenario where that can happen to the Oklahoma City Thunder if they just compete. But I feel like they're going to tank. I also feel like there's going to be not only Chris Paul, even though I told you guys I feel like he's going to be traded after the upcoming season, but you know they got like a lot of good, solid players on that squad that other teams may be interested in if you know certain things happen to their team. Steven Adams is a good pickup. You know, you could trade Steven Adams to a contender. It's not going to cost you a lot. And what Sam Preston won is draft picks anyway. You might give him a couple of draft picks for Steven Adams. You know, so they got players on the roster. Now the younger players that they did, like the point guard that they drafted, I don't see a scenario where they're going to be just giving away that point guard. I feel like that point guard is going to be the future of the Oklahoma City Thunder moving forward. But you know, like contracts such as Steven Adams, Dennis, is his last name Dennis Schroeder? He was drafted. He was with the Hawks, and they orchestrated a trade where they got that contract. And I feel like you know that's a reasonable pickup, you know, for someone to come off the bench and you know strengthen your bench, so to say. So I feel like that's a player that's probably going to be traded in the upcoming trade deadline in the upcoming season. So be on the lookout for that name to be thrown out in the beginning of the regular season and all the way up to the trade deadline. So you know you got Steven Adams, you got Dennis Schroeder. I mean they got contracts like that with the Oklahoma City Thunder where they can trade those assets, those players, and get picks. Okay, not a lot of picks, but they will get picks, and they can be. And Sam Presti can do his best interpretation of Danny Ainge. You know, collecting and stockpiling picks. You know, so many picks where he can pick and choose when he's going to utilize them in the future NBA drafts. Can the New York Knicks go out and get Steven Adams? It's possible. Anything's possible, but I don't see that to be perfect unless they have injuries with their big men. I think they have enough big men that they don't. Steven Adams is not even on their radar. You know, but I feel like a contender may pick up Steven Adams if one or two of their big men are injured and they're going to be missing significant time, or just a contender in general. Okay, you know, a team that's on the outside looking in, that's trying to get that seventh spot, and their weakness is up front. Yeah, of course, you know, Steven Adams will be an important asset, a valuable piece for you know a team that's trying to get into the playoffs. So you know, but the Oklahoma City Thunder, they do have pieces like that that other teams may be interested in. I see a scenario where it's possible. I'm not going to say 100% guaranteed, but I can see a scenario where maybe the Golden State Warriors may entertain a trade for like Dennis Schroeder, the point guard, the backup point guard for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I feel like they may be kicking the tires around for a trade like that. I also see Dennis possibly going to you know, the Lakers, if for you know, just for a backup role, if Rondo is missing a lot of significant time because they got a weakness in their point guard position. I see a possibility in a scenario like that. So you know, the Oklahoma City Thunder have a lot of intriguing players with contracts that are not outrageous. They're not max contracts. Therefore, you can get rid of these contracts real fast, real quick. But before I end the stream, I want to let you guys know that I do not see a scenario where Chris Paul is going to be traded in this upcoming season because of his contract. Now, there and also his his history with players. But more so of the contract. That contract is a big contract to swallow, and you're going to have to give. Not only you're going to have to give up the things Sam Presti want, which is draft picks, which is no problem if you're a contending team. But you're also going to have to take on that huge contract. And Chris Paul is getting older. And that contract is, I mean, 1 year you have to fork over $30 million for just one season. Okay, there's not a lot of teams out there that has that type of salary cap flexibility. I feel there's some teams out there that have some salary cap flexibility, but I feel like the perfect team he should have been traded to, and they had a trade, but somehow one another, I think Sam Presti wanted, I mean, not Sam Presti. I feel like Daryl Morey of the Houston Rockets wanted a little bit too much. And that trade would have been done is sending him to the New York Knicks. So that was a possibility that could have happened. If I feel like another team, they may be kicking the tires around, but I don't think Chris Paul is interested in this team, is the Detroit Pistons. The Detroit Pistons have some cap flexibility where they could take on a contract like Chris Paul, okay, and then reunite him with Blake Griffin, but I felt like their relationship was kind of icy at the end. So, but I feel like they can patch things up. I don't think it was nothing serious where they couldn't stand one another, but it was kind of icy, okay? And I feel like Chris Paul fits well with Detroit, more so with Miami, even though a lot of people feel like he's going to Miami. The problem with the Miami angle is Sam Presti likes what he sees on that roster already for the Heat, and the Heat are not giving up those players. And they're not going to give up a lot of draft picks for Chris Paul. Even though they want Chris Paul, they like Chris Paul as the individual, they just don't like that contract. That's the problem that's presented in front of Chris Paul, okay? I promise you guys I want to make this stream extremely long. I didn't want to make it into no 20-minute, 15-minute long stream. We're already past the 10-minute mark. Guys, I really do appreciate the people who actually came to the live stream, even though 85% of the people who watch my videos watch the re-air of it. If you have comments, thoughts, and opinions, hit the comment section. I promise I will reply to your comments. Also, you can hit me up on Twitter. I'm Chris the Don 1. I'm Chris the Don 1 at Twitter. You can hit me up there, and we can rap on Twitter. But I'm not on Twitter as much. But when I do tweet, it's kind of interesting. It's your boy. I'm Chris the Don 1, and I am out.